Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. And I know it's been a while since I posted my previous video. And my exams just finished yesterday, and while I was able to watch most of the games since I posted my last video, I wasn't able to post videos regarding those games. And the league stage of this year's IPL is nearing its completion, with a few teams still in contention to qualify, especially in third and fourth place. This video will be me giving my views on the intricacies involved in the teams still in contention to qualify for the playoffs, especially the third and fourth spots. Starting things off, I think three teams are out of contention in terms of qualifying for the playoffs this year. Those teams being the Delhi Capitals, the Sunrisers Hyderabad, and the Kolkata Knight Riders. The first two out of those three teams suffering disappointing losses today. And in the case of the Delhi Capitals, with already 7 losses before this game and a negative net run rate, you thought even if they won their last few games, them qualifying for the playoffs would be quite an unlikely outcome. But in the case of the Sunrisers, won 4, lost 6 before this game, and if they won their last 4, you'd think 16 points would have done it. And unfortunately for them, a disappointing loss today where I thought they had done more than enough with the bat. I thought 170 would have got the job done in the first innings. They got 14 runs above that. And with the way they started off with the ball and the power play, they looked on course to win this game. And LSG didn't really start accelerating until the strategic timeout that took place. And the acceleration only started towards the latter stages of the third wicket partnership. At one stage, 87 was required of 40 balls on a slow surface. Despite the fact that they had some hitters to come, you still thought SRH, if they could continue affecting some scoreboard pressure, they would get over the line in this game. A telling over took place though, the 31 run over from Abhishek Sharma, and that really shifted the scales or the balance in the game in LSG's favour, and it was a cakewalk from that point onwards. And you've got to say it was a strategical error from SRH where the impact player was included in the second innings and he didn't bowl. I think it's the case of you've got Vibrant Sharma who's included in the second innings for this game, but you've also got a Mayank Dagar who I think Vivrant Sharma is listed as a batting all-rounder in the squad, and we've only seen both these players bowl for one game, Mayank Dagar against CSK and Vivrant Sharma against the Rajasthan Royals. But considering Mayank Dagar seems to be more of a bowler than Vivrant Sharma, at least based on what I've seen thus far, which is only one game each, I thought with the way that Mayank Dagar bowls, he could have been useful on the surface, and not only was he not introduced, but they didn't even bowl Vivrant Sharma either. So I didn't understand that at all. And the extra over of Abhishek Sharma was the one that cost them the game on this occasion. And I think this loss will hurt simply because they had done the things right up to that point, got more than enough runs in the first innings, and they were going over the ball until the 31 run over. And this season, they've bottled games with the bat, and in this case, bottled the game with the ball. And you've got to think it seals their fate in terms of their qualification hopes for the playoffs this season. So that's on them. A poor season from them. I didn't expect them to qualify simply because of the one-dimensional nature of their batting and the fact that you look at their spinners as well, where they're more economical spinners. You wouldn't really consider them to be wicket-taking. And if you get your tactics wrong even above that, then you're not going to win too many games. And that's why we've seen them underperform quite a bit this season. And regarding the Delhi Capitals, I mean, I didn't think they would have a chance of qualifying since they lost the previous game against the Chennai Super Kings. And I thought that, first of all, credit to Prabhsimran Singh. 334 runs in 12 games this season, and I think every run he's scored has been impactful runs. Even the 20s that he scored, for example, the very first game the Punjab Kings played this season against the Kolkata Knight Riders, His 23 off 11 was also an innings that set them on their way. So really well done from him. And 100 that really won his team the game. I mean, the 50 against the Rajasthan Royals went a long way in winning their team the game then. And the 100 in this game, where the next highest score was 20, I think was a fantastic effort. But going back to the Delhi Capitals, I thought after the Punjab Kings were 55 for 3 in 8 overs, the Capitals let them get to a very good score via a brilliant innings from Prabhsimran Singh. Yes, but still, they would have been disappointed to let them get to that much. And in the second innings, 65 without loss in 6 overs. And once again, the middle order shows in terms of its frailties. And I think Mitchell Marsh has been played in every game thus far. And I think it's time to say, and I've implied this before as well, it's time to say, has he really done enough with the bat this season? No, he hasn't. I mean, he was run out in the previous game, but in this game, a very poor shot from him. Riley Rousseau is not a number 4, he's a number 3, and he's batted even 5 sometimes this season. You've batted Manish Pandey in this game at 6, which didn't make any sense. Finally, they batted Akshay Patel at number 5, but unfortunately for them, he couldn't do too much of the bat today either. So, this loss has really summed up their season, and I've discussed 2 teams here where, on paper, they looked okay. Yes, I thought there were precarious points in each of their sides. For example, the one-dimensional batting for SRH, and if you look at the batting for the Delhi Capitals, I talked about the fact in my preview that if Prithvi Shaw doesn't score runs consistently, now I use the word consistently, but with the way he plays, you can't expect consistency. Now, they've dropped him after 5 games after scoring 40 runs, which I think with the kind of cricket Prithvi Shaw plays, expecting consistency is not the way to go. And especially when you're looking for him to cover up the deficiencies in terms of the form of the other Indian batsmen as a collective, I think that it's just too much to expect from him with the nature of the cricket that he plays. And Akshay Patel was pretty much the only Indian batsman in form for them this season. They underutilized him. So that's on both these sides. And now getting on to the teams that you think have a chance in qualifying for the playoffs. And now on the Punjab Kings, a vital win for them today. And with the way that David Warner and Phil Salt were going up front, you thought this would be another RCB type bottle drop like they effected against the Delhi Capitals, defending 180 or so. And I think after the first wicket fell, a procession occurred and a vital win for the Punjab Kings. Regarding their table position, won 6, lost 6. They are sitting in 6th place with a negative net run rate, minus 0.268. I think in their case, they'll have to win their last 2 games. Even if they lose 1, you think with that net run rate, it'll probably rule them out. So they'll have to win their last 2 games. They play against the Delhi Capitals again in Dharamshala, and I think another home game for them against Rajasthan in Dharamshala. I think after this collapse from the Delhi Capitals in today's game, the Punjab Kings will be feeling confident. At the same time, they'll have to be wary that in Dharamshala, I think you can expect good batting conditions, and with the top 4 that the Delhi Capitals have got, if 2 of them kind of go on a roll and they get a huge total with their bowling attack, it depends. I think the Punjab Kings would make sure that Delhi Capitals don't have a great day in terms of their top 4 and their bowlers defending the score. But if that doesn't happen, and with the performance we saw from Delhi today, you'd think that Punjab Kings could get a win against Delhi. The game that could go either way, I think both games could go either way because of the nature of the service, but especially the game against the Rajasthan Royals, I think the team that makes the least errors would go on to win that game. You saw the first time around when these 2 teams played, I had no idea why Sanju Samson won the toss and chose to bowl first. Whoever does that this time around will lose the game. So I think the toss will be a crucial factor in both these games, especially the game against the Rajasthan Royals. And if the Punjab Kings lose even one of these 2 games, you think that would be their playoff hopes done. And the next team in question being, I think if you look at tomorrow's game, the Rajasthan Royals, I'll just cover them. Won 6, lost 6, but unlike the Punjab Kings, a net run rate of 0.633. So very well placed in terms of net run rate, but would want to get to 16 points because you think with a great net run rate and with 16 points, that's pretty much you secure in the playoffs. And I think especially with tomorrow's game, they'll be fancying their chances. They've got a game against RCB, a day game, and once again, Sanju Samson choosing to bowl first the previous time around resulted in an unnecessary loss, really. And I think this time, Rajasthan Royals, even though they've lost the last 5 out of their 7 games, I think they will be feeling confident. I think especially if they bat first, the Royal Challengers Bangalore really seem like... I think at this point in time, I would consider them alongside the Delhi Capitals. In fact, I'd consider probably RCB to be the worst side in the competition as of now, based on how their batting and bowling is functioning. I think with the Delhi Capitals, their bowling has been quite good. But if you're looking at RCB, with the way they're structuring their batting lineup and the team selections and with the way their bowling attack is going, I think right now they are the worst team in the competition. And in their case, and I'll talk about this more in detail regarding them, but I don't think they will win another game this season. So based on that, a very powerful team, it's a phrase that Harsha Bhogle uses a lot. I think a team like the Rajasthan Royals that has the players to influence the result on the day, and they've got some star players there. I think they'll be fancying their chances tomorrow. Against the Punjab Kings, from a Rajasthan Royals point of view, I hope Sanju Samson, if he wins the toss, doesn't win the toss and choose to bowl first. In the second half of the season, it's been good that he's been choosing to bat first when winning the toss, but his captaincy still hasn't been great in other areas. So I think you've got a Shikhar Dhawan whose captaincy hasn't been great either. So you've got 2 captains that haven't been great this tournament in terms of leadership. But I think that whoever makes the least mistakes will get the job done on the day. So I think regarding the Rajasthan Royals and the Punjab Kings, I think I'm expecting the Rajasthan Royals to qualify. I just think that they'll beat RCB, and I think Punjab Kings will fall short against the Rajasthan Royals in their final game. You'd think Kolkata are out of contention based on their situation. 5 wins and 7 losses in 12 games played. And especially with their latest loss against the Rajasthan Royals, their net run rate, you'd think would have taken a hit. It's on minus 0.357 currently, and you'd think if you combine the points total as well as their negative net run rate, you'd think them qualifying for the playoffs would be quite a difficult thing. They've got to play CSK and I think LSG as well. Now they could beat LSG, but I think with them losing to CSK, even though they've got some resources to tackle CSK, I think with their Indian batsmen being good players of spin, and they've got the spin attack as well. So let's see how they do, but I still think them qualifying is quite a long shot, and I don't think it will happen. And then it leaves the team who will be playing against the Rajasthan Royals in tomorrow's game, and that is the Royal Challengers Bangalore. I think it will be quite a tough road for qualification for them. They have to play against 3 teams that I don't think they'd want to be playing. I think the Rajasthan Royals are favourites for tomorrow's game. I think that SRH have a very good record against RCB, so that won't be an easy game. And I don't think RCB are beating the Gujarat Titans. So for a team that is on a poor run of form, they've lost their last 2 games and they may even lose their last 3. Like I've said, I think right now they are the worst team in the competition. And that win against LSG was a bit of a steal I think at the Ekana Stadium. So they could have even been on 1-4, lost 10. And so even though you could say, right, LSG won the first fixture in a close encounter, but overall, a poor season for RCB, I think. With the bat and the ball, things haven't gone well for them at all. I can't understand some of the team selections as well. I think in tomorrow's game, their best chance is batting first. I don't think, especially if the Rajasthan Royals play Adam Zampa, I don't think they'll be able to chase a score down against those 3 spinners in turning conditions. Against SRH, I think they'll have to be better than what they have been thus far. You saw last year a 67 all-out against SRH. They haven't had a great record against them in the past few years, and that will have to change. And against the Gujarat Titans, a side that even though they lost against the Mumbai Indians in the latest game, I think that They are still going well, and it'll be a challenge for RCB to get over the line in that game. So overall, I don't think RCB will qualify for the playoffs this season, because the road for qualification in these last 3 games for a side that is not in form is way too difficult. And now on LSG. They're on 1-6, lost 5 after winning the afternoon game today. And I think a lucky point due to a no result against CSK, a game that they were pretty much destined to lose. And they've got a good net run rate in 0.039. But I still think they'd be looking to win the last 2 games, simply because if they win one game and lose another, you've got teams such as the Mumbai Indians and the Rajasthan Royals that could get to 16 points and overtake them on points. So I think LSG will be looking to win both the games in hand. I think the next game is against the Mumbai Indians at home, and I think they'll be fancying their chances in that game because of the nature of the surface. The Mumbai Indians batting in a 1KD track is a different beast compared to the Mumbai Indians batting on slow tracks. You saw the game against CSK that they were second best by far. It was a no contest. And if LSG get it right with the ball and disciplined with the bat, I think this could also be a fairly convincing win for LSG. But the thing is, they have to get things right. You've seen against RCB where they threw the game away against a side that has not been in great form. So I think that before this game, on the run of form, considering the run of form that LSG were on, I thought that any team playing against LSG would fancy their chances. But a great win for them today, and I think they'll be fancying their chances against Mumbai in the next game. And the last game is against KKR, where I think you've seen, I alluded to this in my previous video, that against New Zealand in late 2021, the Eden Gardens did play out as a kind of a slower track. Even the cutters did work out, even though there was dew on the outfield on that day. And I used it as a reference of Harshal Patel's bowling in that series, where I thought in that game he could still bowl these slow balls even though the outfield was dewy. And I think in this case you've got both sides with very good spin attacks, and you've got a KKR side that, even though they haven't really shown too many things on the field, I do think that on paper they've got the tools to go well against spin with their Indian batsmen, and they've got the spinners to pose a threat. So I think this will be a more even game than the thrashings we saw on both occasions in the previous season when these two sides played each other. And yeah, let's see how they go. But I think if LSG win these 2 games, then 17 points, a very good net run rate, they are through. And they should be happy with that, considering the loss of form before this game. But if they lose one, even they'll have to rely on the Mumbai Indians and the Rajasthan Royals to not get to 16 points. And I think the Punjab Kings are there as well. But I think that's a rely on those 3 teams not getting to 16 points. But let's see how they go. And now the Mumbai Indians 1-7, lost 5, and what a resurrection it has been. You thought with how they started off, with how many were they going to win if they were going to win a game. Their batting has really come to the fore, and even with the injury of Tilak Verma, the likes of Nehal Wadera have been very good. And Suryakumar Yadav, who I'd even said before, he was not out of form. And I thought even when he hadn't done well in ODI cricket before, he was still doing brilliantly in T20s. Almost 500 runs at a strike rate of 190. I'd said that apart from KL Rahul, who's unfortunately injured, and Rutraj Gaikwad, there hadn't been another Indian batsman who could be at 600 run bank. Maybe if Suryakumar Yadav got to play a full season, then maybe he could get to that number. He may not get to 600 simply because of the nature of the services that he'd have to play on, apart from the game against SRH, which I think he'll be most vital in terms of them winning. But in the case of the Mumbai Indians, even with their 200 chases, minus 0.117 as their net run rate, and I think they will be looking to win their even if they lose one of those games, they'll be looking to win one of their games in hand, of course. I think they may get to a stage where they're still at a negative net run rate even after winning. So they'll still be looking to win the last 2 games. But like I said, against LSG, it may be a bit of a challenge based on the nature of the surface. And if they do qualify, they'll be playing in Ahmedabad and Chennai. In Chennai, first up, against teams such as Rajasthan Royals, for example, who've got the 3 spinners that they've got. So I think it'll be good practice for them if they do get to the playoffs to play in that kind of a surface. But like I've said, against the Chennai Super Kings, you saw it wasn't no contest. So I think they're giving us SRA still fancy their chances quite a bit, but they will have to apply themselves well to get something out of the next few games. And finally, in the case of the Gujarat Titans and the Chennai Super Kings, I think with the Gujarat Titans, a home game against the Sunrisers, I think they will be fancying their chances there. And against RCB, I think they should get the job done. And for CSK, I think KKR can look to do something against CSK in tomorrow's game with their Indian batsmen being good players of spin. But having said that, facing someone like a Ravindra Jadeja in those conditions, even good players of spin seem to trip up. And you've also got KKR spin attack as well. But I do think with the current form of KKR and with how assured CSK look, I think CSK should get the job done. And against the Delhi Capitals, you saw the bottle job from the Delhi Capitals in this game. And I think that CSK should also get the job done in that game. So the top 2, I think, are set. And it's just a case of who will qualify in 3rd and 4th. And yeah, I think the playoff race this year has been quite an interesting one, and let's see how these games go. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?